Welcome to Braveheart Nation, everyone. I'm Dr. Darryl Wolfe, and today we're going to be doing a real people, real healing, and it's called the domino effect of 300 pounds of mental, physical, and emotional luggage. Understand something. I did earlier today a show, and it was called Your Brain, okay, is a computer, and you're not the programmer. Whether you want to believe this or anybody wants to believe this, and everybody struggles with this because they do not want to be disrespected, even though they've been disrespected all their life, by belief systems that they never created, that were created for them. We're going to be talking to Renee, okay? And this is not a put down. This is a call up. A call up. I want everybody to understand that the English language was actually put together so that we would talk in a way that would always lower our vibration, lower our value, okay? I said to Renee, Renee, how you doing? She said, hanging in there. And I just said to her, I will never hang for anyone. I'm not going to hang in there. I'm not going to hang anywhere. Okay, I'm going to surf through life. Words matter. Words matter. Okay, how are you doing today? Good. Who wants to do good? I want to be outstanding. I want to be great. I want to be amazing. So nobody wants to stand out because, my God, the last time I stood out, somebody laughed at me. And guess what? Let them laugh. Let them, all of them laugh. Because the majority of the population will laugh at you because they're too scared to take any risks. All right? And if you're scared to make mistakes, then you won't take any risks, which means you won't have hardly a life at all. And I'm telling you right now, guys, every extra pound that's on your body is issues in the tissues, is physical, emotional, and mental luggage. It's because we haven't had the strategies or the actual training, emotional training, and we can't process our own emotional luggage. So what do you got to do? Well, you got to build luggage racks and understand something. Okay, we'll find out how tall Renee is, but let's say she's 160 pounds overweight, maybe 150 pounds overweight. But she's not overweight. She's overinflamed and overinfected. And all of these cells were created to protect her. She wouldn't be alive right now. She'd be gone. She would not be here. So understand that. The next time you look at somebody and you go, oh, they're overweight, you know what? Have some empathy. Because people, okay, for one thing that you don't know is that, ready for this? 96% of Americans are overweight, okay? 80% to 82%, I don't know, it changes all the time, are obese. Sickest nation in the world, okay? My family's never been sicker, okay? I'm not talking about my immediate family, but my relatives, people I know have never been sicker. Every day I just have these horror stories coming. And the reality is that guess what? We trusted, who did we trust? We trusted psycho billionaires. I mean, just know this, that all food corporations are owned by Big Tobacco. And Big Tobacco, oh yeah, they've been so good to us, right? Oh yeah, smoking's great for your lungs. That's what they told doctors to say. You know, suck in deep, really exercise those lungs, and then get cancer. Not from the tobacco, not from the nicotine, because nicotine's not even addictive. But guess what? Get sick from the 150 chemicals we'll put in there that will cause you cancer because we are the devil. Yeah. And now that we're not doing the cigarettes, we're doing the vaping, and we're in your cupboards, we're in your fridge, and you are going to be poisoned. You know, if you have to read a bottle to actually, and you can't say the words, it shouldn't be in your cart. And if you have to read the label, it probably shouldn't be in your cart. And then most of you would not like that because guess what? you're not hungry, you're addicted. And if you're not addicted to eating, okay, then guess what? Then it's the way that it's a coping mechanism for you, for anxiety. All right? Because there is no such thing as depression. There's just anxiety where you burn your brain out because it's just a computer and it shuts down on you and you're depressed, and there is no depression. But now they've given drugs for people with depression and it doesn't fight depression. All antidepressant drugs do is actually give you thoughts of suicide. That's why the biggest study that was ever done was done a year and a half ago. And they stated that anybody who gets antidepressive drugs should be called 1 week after they start taking their drugs and asked if they have thoughts of suicide. So understand something. Human beings are no better than the cattle. And I'm not saying the cattle should be treated roughly, but just know this. You know, we're going to talk about animal rights. Well, what about human rights? You can't get any damn human rights anywhere. No, we can't stop people from poisoning the skies, the water, the food. All we do is we complain about it, make ourselves sick. So the reality is we're going to talk to Renee today because we don't want her to be sick. And understand something, sick is just a belief. If somebody's underweight and they can't gain weight, then they have a belief system that actually creates that. If somebody's overweight, they have a belief system that created that. Now, I didn't tell you that they're conscious of the belief system because they're not. It's in their subconscious mind. Let me tell you something. You've been running this personality since you were anywhere from 0 to 7, and then you could be 50 years old, and you've never done anything to change your personality. And if you don't change your belief systems, you won't change your personality, you won't change your reality, so you're not going to lose the weight or keep it off. You cannot want to lose weight. You have to want to love, honor, and respect yourself and know what that feels like, and then continue to do it. You'll never have a weight problem or a sickness problem. You will never see me sick. You will never see me sick. You'll never see me with a cold or flu. I'm telling you, whether you believe it or not, I know how to master this God-given vehicle called my body. And that's all I want to show everybody. I am no smarter than anyone else. I just took the time and said, I'm not going to suffer like my parents and all my relatives or even my brothers. And I did that a long time ago. Ever since I was young, I've always rebelled, right? Oh my God, he's so rebellious. Oh, really? Well, that was my greatest, okay, part of my personality. Hi, Renee. How are you doing, love?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic.
And
I am. And guess what? As soon as you start saying the words, even if your subconscious says, that's not true, you've been miserable all day because your subconscious doesn't want you to change unless you're going to take massive personal action, change your words, and actually put some emotion behind it, like you are behind you. You got this. Think of the person that you loved, whether it was your child or it was your husband or somebody, and they had fallen down. What did you do? You came forward with your heart and you said, I got you. Well, you need to do that with yourself, and you got to get your front, you got to cover your back, and guess what? You got to be there for you. You've got to be patient, you've got to have empathy, but you've got to be gently pushing you forward. If you change 1% today, Renee, what would that mean after 100 days?
Pretty awesome.
That would be 100% change. And did you know it all had to do with your personality? Your personality makes all your decisions. What about changing your personality, but not getting rid of it? Keep all the beautiful things about you, your spirit, your heart, your caring. Okay? But how about the part where you put yourself down quietly? How about that part, Renee?
Yep.
What do you think?
I think you're right.
Oh, I know I'm right. You can't get into this shape unless you needed luggage racks to store all of the things that you believe to be true that weren't, that people said to you that hurt you. And then you run over that hurt continually, that story. You keep feeding it until that story starts feeding on you, right?
I guess I would have to go back and think about that, but you're probably right.
Well, you may not have to go back and think about it, but you should go back and think about it without emotion and look at it like you're analyzing it to find out why, okay, we have these blocks from becoming more. What do you think?
What do you mean blocks from becoming more?
Okay. Let's start here. What would you like to see today?
I like to be able to walk. I have MS and I want to walk. So that's what I want to see today.
Okay, well, you don't have MS. You have something they gave you a label as MS. I have treated hundreds of MS patients that are called MS patients. And I'm telling you right now that you have a dysfunctional bowel, and it has created tons of infection and inflammation throughout your body. That MS patients have a really bad parasitical problem. They have a bad bowel problem, and they have scar tissue, and they have actual adhesions in their spinal column. Okay?
Okay.
And you'll also see that they'll have parasites in their spinal fluid.
I've read
Now,
that.
remember something. Parasites can only live in an environment that allows it. You know, like Louis Pasteur said, the bug is nothing. The terrain is everything.
Mm.
So your weight is approximately 300 pounds, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And your height is?
5'8".
5'8". Okay. So I was about right. So we could be talking about 150 pounds, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's understand where that extra weight came from. And that extra weight is the storage of infection. Now, where would that infection come from? Well, they call it leaky gut, but it's just a broken down large intestine. And what happens is that with all the processed foods we eat, with all the antibiotics we take, we're getting glyphosate in all our foods, processed foods. They're in every processed food. So, and then we get the antibiotics. And those two things tear apart the tight junctions in your large intestine. And this has been going on forever and a day. This goes back to actually, it started in the 1930s, okay, 1935, 1936. And it's been going on for a long time. But they really ramped it up around the 1970s. So that's almost about 50 years ago. So between the antibiotics and animal products, between the antibiotics that you, okay, so when's the last time you took antibiotics?
Probably a year ago.
That's right. So anybody that has MS, okay, which is just a symptom of a broken down bowel, but it becomes more because it's called the domino effect. I'm sure you've got a lot of other symptoms that they love to attach other disease names to, because it's all about the labels. I'll have people come and they'll give me 6 to 8 different autoimmune diseases when there isn't any. There isn't any. The human body does not attack itself. The human body attacks poisons that are in joints, organs, or tissues. That's it. That's real science. Even though we got the naturopaths going around and other natural health people going, you've got an autoimmune disease where the body's attacking itself. It doesn't attack itself. That's not true. It was created by God Almighty, and it is not attacking itself. No matter where it is going to attack, it's attacking there because that area has been poisoned. So everybody's got a weak link. And the weak link is actually going to put people in the hospital, put them in the nursing home, or put them in hospice. That's the way it is, unless you're going to go in and find out what that weak link is and then reverse it. And everything is reversible. Everything can be cured, and I'm not the curer. The person needs to be. So I say to you, how badly do you want to walk again? What is your passion? What is your purpose for walking? Because that really matters. Well, because I want to walk. No, what's your passion? What's your purpose? What's your reason for living, thriving? Why just live when you can thrive?
You're asking my family, my grandkids, to to be able to travel, to be able to, just enjoy life.
Okay. All right. So what did you have this morning?
To eat, I listened to you and I started having the strawberries and the eggs, putting them in a blender. And for the first time, when I eat something, I feel more strength, which is crazy. So raw eggs. And when you first said it,
Understand something. The majority of the population does the wrong thing. The minority does the right thing, and that's the way it's been since the beginning of time, because advertising works and marketing works, and everybody believes medical doctors that know nothing about health. Thank you.
yeah, so I thought it would be really gross having the raw eggs, but you don't even notice. And
Well,
it's
the
like,
raw eggs make it actually taste like a milkshake you used to buy, didn't it?
I wouldn't say that, but it's not, and I add water to it. I don't add any milk or anything to it.
Well,
But it,
you could add coconut water if you wanted. That gives it a little bit sweeter flavor, and it's also antibacterial, antifungal. Okay, all right. If you wanted to do that, and you should also be adding black gold in there because black gold is pure humic fulvic. We're the only ones that produce humic fulvic without chemicals. You do that, I would put a level tablespoon in, and I'd have you doing a blender drink like that twice a day.
I can only do a half a teaspoon of it.
What happens?
I start having loose bowels.
Good. There, that's what I wanted to see. Now, guess what? Why do you think you get loose bowels from humic fulvic? And that's the natural occurring substance that was supposed to be in our soil that isn't there anymore, that actually reinstates the good bacteria, which is 85% of a human's immune system. So the reality is when the humic fulvic goes in, it's so high vibrational, it actually will grab onto the parasites, the fungus, the mold, the bad bacteria, and chemicals, okay? So it's loading itself up on this, and it draws it into itself like a magnet. And because there's so much in there, we're stirring a little bit more up than we need to. So then it gives you diarrhea, because diarrhea is the body's way of either getting rid of excess infection. But for the world that isn't trying to detox, those people who don't do detox, it is the body's natural way of detoxing somebody who is constipated. Now, constipation doesn't mean you don't go to the bathroom. Impaction means you don't go to the bathroom. Constipation means it doesn't all come out. And whether you believe this or not, a person of 300 pounds has approximately 30 pounds of actual old fecal waste laying in their large intestine.
Wow.
And that's rotting inside of you. Now, some people are going to go, he has been really hard on her. And I'm going to tell you something right now, Renee. You're a beautiful woman, and I will stick with you. You can call me as often as you want. And if you actually learn to trust me, okay, in 1 year, and it shouldn't take that long, but it depends. And when I say this, I mean this in the best way. Like, okay, I did a consult yesterday, and I have a lady who did 3 COVID shots, and she did also another one. So she did four vaccines.
No.
And I told them honestly, and she ended up getting Lou Gehrig's disease 1 year after. Did you hear that? So 3 COVIDs, 1 shingle vaccine, and 1 year later, okay, she's got Lou Gehrig's, okay? And that is not a party. That is a terrible, terrible illness, okay? And that's what you call a total breakdown of the body. And I told them, if you're going to do this, you have to front end load because we are coming up against a very low vibration within your body. Okay. Your body's being dismantled. So we would have to really go in front end loading, and she would really have to work at this. And the reason why I said this is because I never want anybody coming to me and saying, you know what, all he does is try to sell people products. If a person comes to me and they've created a 20-foot hole, how long should the ladder be?
25.
Yeah, well, yeah, it wouldn't hurt to have it a couple extra feet. I love your answer. Okay, I would have said, yeah, 20, but you know what? Why not have a couple extra feet there? And that's what we want to do is we want to make sure we're getting out of the hole and we're at ground level again. So I can tell you that people do not realize it, but it is a whole plant-based keto lifestyle. So people go, well, I went on a keto diet where I got rid of all the carbs and everything else, and all I did was veggies, and I did just animal protein, and you're going to lose weight. But you are going to have trouble. You're going to have trouble down the road because it's so similar to the Atkins diet. Most people don't remember the Atkins diet, but when I was in health, and I was like even 23 years old, that was the Atkins diet. And then everybody was starting to give up on it because they were getting other problems from eating too much animal protein. And trust me, the animal protein back then wasn't poisoned like it was today. Okay? So now I was 23 years old. I'll be 68 in another month and a half or something. So what we would do is get you on a really high vibrational, not organic diet, but we want to get you on toxic-free foods, toxic-free, poison-free. So, whenever you can get food from people that are growing in your local area and it's not organic, because if it's organic, even if they're the smallest farmer, they got to pay ransom money to the government of $10,000 every year. And that's even a small farmer. The whole thing is a scam. Organic is a scam. If anything, we should be able to go buy food, and then if you want, you could buy the poison food over there. Okay? But we should be able to have food. We can't even have real food on this planet. The government says you can't. The psycho-billionaires and the entity that feeds off our suffering all says we can't. Right? But I can. Are you willing to do things to make sure that you get poison-free food and that you eat high vibrational foods? Because guess what, Renee, there's only one type of food group. There's not starches, fruit, vegetables, and protein. It's high vibrational food. That's it. High vibrational clean food. Okay, the Eskimos, right? How many veggies do they eat? Hardly any. And we're talking about, before they went and got into this commercialized eating. But guess what? Eskimos, the Hunzas, and the Japanese, they all live to around 100 to 115 years old. How do they do it? They eat poison-free. So when we say poison-free, okay, you work still?
Yes.
What do you do?
I'm an Instagram influencer.
Okay, so that means that you are basically on a computer or a phone a lot, right?
Sadly, yes.
And you do not have a pair of Tesla Lightwear, right?
No,
Right?
no, I don't.
Hey, can I tell you something? You're never going to lose the weight. You can starve yourself if you want.
Wow.
Guess what? Take a look at Dr. Jack Cruz. He's a neurosurgeon, and he's done all the study, all the science, and understand something. Blue light is what's causing, and I know everybody wants to blame it just on the V, but blue light is causing the turbo diseases. Blue light is causing all the obesity. When did blue light come out?
Maybe 15 years ago.
It came out 27 years ago on computers. It came out 40 years ago, 50 years ago. It came out 50 years ago on TVs. So you didn't know it was around, did you? So blue light, okay, so just know this. What they could have done is they could have invented TVs, computers, phones, lighting, okay, that would actually put off right frequencies, okay, that would actually work off Tesla technology. And you could be looking at be doing your work on your Instagramming, and you'd actually be getting full spectrum light into your eyes. You'd be getting frequencies coming off your iPad, your phone, or your computer that is actually healing you. Let me tell you something.
Mhm.
The people that actually run this world are so sick. They don't have legs. They just crawl along on the bottom of the floor. And you know what? They're allowed to actually run the planet. And I'm only saying this because I need you to understand you're not going to get the support you want out there or in here. You're going to have to take it from here. Most of the people that you talk to, what? You bought a pair of Tesla lightwear? Why didn't you buy blue blockers? Well, people don't get it. Blue blockers slow down blue light. And then you got to wear one for daylight, one for night, where you could wear Tesla lightwear that Tesla invented these. Not Elon Musk. He's not a Tesla. He's a fraud. And he wants to turn every human into a cyborg. So believe whatever you want about him. And then he created a car that the battery is actually causing ovarian and testicular and bowel cancer faster than you can shake a stick. All right. So these here, they'll take all 5G, all blue light. When it hits these fluorine lenses, which is made out of the flower of life, which everything is comprised of on this planet and the universe, is the flower of life. And that is imprinted into these fluorine lenses. So when it 5G, and you might be thinking, why is he talking about this? Because you're an influencer. You want to know something? I have a really dear relative that is a natural health doctor. And guess what? Been that way for 40 years. And now they're going in for operation for cataracts because they're on the computer all the time doing consultations. And guess what? And this person, this woman, has eaten and drank everything to the max health-wise. And it all came from the blue light off her computer and off her phone. Mm-hmm. Now everybody's doing this, right? Well, let's just say goodbye to the majority of the population. You think I'm kidding? So just know this, 5,000 teenagers are being diagnosed daily with cataracts right now. Just know this, detached retina, glaucoma. Hope you know this, that 30 seconds for a child on any blue light gadgets, okay, causes hormonal and chemical disruption. And it doesn't stop when they go and they move it away. Because every 30 seconds that is like that, it's an extra 10 minutes after, so that they're going to be out of alignment. Where do you think all the moodiness comes from? Where do you think the headaches come from? The burning mouth, the burning eyes, the brain damage. People don't even know that blue light causes Alzheimer's. Seriously. They don't know that it causes anxiety and then depression, and now you're on the drugs. But understand this, blue light causes the worst free radicals on planet Earth. That's already been proven. So if you said to me, Daryl, I can't give up my job. I need to be this Instagrammer. I'd say if you don't get the blue light, Tesla, okay? Tesla lightwear. Because guess what? See how bad this blue light is? It can destroy my life. When it hits these lenses, guess what? I've got C60 coming in. If you know what C60 is, it repairs your brain, your nervous system. Okay, I used to wear glasses. I wore glasses for a good part of my life. But then guess what? Using bright eyes, changing my diet, doing the ultimate coffee enema, wearing Tesla lightwear, I've got perfect vision now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, if I were to give you a pair of these glasses right now and you put them on, you would go into a meditative bliss state.
Really?
Yes, you would. People don't get it. They don't get it. But that's okay. They will get it. And guess when they're going to get it? When people are falling by the wayside and nobody can figure this out. So we're going to have 5 years, at least 5 years before this Tesla lightwear technology hits the general public. And do you know how many people have to go blind and lose their mind and have to gain weight until they blow up? Because the main side effect, okay, is first, okay, you can't think straight because you're burning your brain with the blue light. Because blue light only lasts it's only at 12 o'clock, noon. But now you're doing it all day. You threw your whole circadian rhythm, your whole metabolism off. And whether you believe it or not, these are about the price of designer glasses. And people will go out and buy designer glasses. But then I go and tell them this, and they're going to go, oh, no. Anyway, so you put these on, and you are going to have, at the end of the day, you're not going to be burnt out. You're going to have your energy. You're going to be clear thinking. You're not going to be exhausted. And what do you do when you do you know what blue light does? It causes you to go and look for the same food that vibrates at that level. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. When you're on and you're doing your work, you get so into refined carbs and sugar, you need something to junk you. This is a revolving door. Anyways, I'm going to have it out. I was going to try to have it out this week. I don't think I will. I'm going to do about a 20-minute blue light special, and I'm going to prove to everyone that blue light is actually destroying your immune system and your life more than anything else on this planet right now. 5G, no. There's no 5G in your phone. Does everybody understand? It's the blue light radiation that's coming off your phone. The blue light radiation. Your phone is heating up in your hand. It's not the heat that hurts your hand. You can have it in your hand and you can feel sometimes a pain in your arm. That's the radiation from the blue light. That's the radiation from intentionally put on computers, phones, and guess what? Remember when they told us, do you have LED lighting in your house?
I try not to. I just
see, I know, but guess what? The LED lighting is just a smidgen of what your phone and your computer is giving off in your TV.
Oh, really?
Just a smidgen. And if you're going to, I'm giving you the best advice, and nobody's ever told you this, and nobody's going to tell you this. I'm giving you the best advice in the world. I just did it. And I'm going to show you something in a second here. But if you're going to be on there for 8 hours a day, you need to take a look on my website. And when you're done here, okay, I will help you out if you're interested. But you need to get, okay, a grounding pillowcase, grounding sheet to lay on, and one to have on top of you. And guess why? Because when you use this, it's going to put the electrons back that are stolen from you sitting in front of a computer. I'm going to tell you right now, and you can take it or leave it. Lori has got a grounding, okay? She's got a grounding mat right where her computer is that her arms are on. She's got a grounding mat on the floor for her feet. She's got her Teslas on. We will finish the end of the day, and then we'll go swimming for an hour. Our day's just started when we finish work. We go to have fun. We're not dragging our butts. And I'm just trying to tell you, there's a war on, and it's invisible, but it's not that invisible, but it's an invisible war. You need to do that and put that on. You're going to call me and tell me, oh my God. And the other thing is, you know what? I was on here the other day, and there's some, on Sunday we did this big thing for Judy Mikovits, and it was 18, of the top scientists and doctors around the world that are looking for and finding cures for things. And that was a 7-hour thing. And somebody comes on and goes, well, Dr. E says that the best detoxifying water in the world is distilled water. And I can tell you right now, they're absolutely wrong. It's amazing how people will just spread around stuff. And some of the people that you really trust, they go and say things that bloody well aren't true.
I did get...
Are you ready? Structured water, which it cost us less than $300, never breaks down, never takes batteries, never needs a filter. Structured water is the only water that will take blue light and 5G poisoning out of the fluids of your body. Did you get that?
I got a structured one of the portable ones.
Yeah, that's all you need. But guess what? Do you take baths or showers?
Yes.
Which one? Baths or showers? Which one are you?
Shower.
Pardon?
Shower.
You take a shower. Well, then you should just buy a structured shower head from us too. And if you do that, your hair is not going to be burnt. Your eyes are not going to be burnt. You're not going to be sitting in a chlorine gas chamber and it's going in your lungs and going in your pores because the water's hot. You're opening up your pores. Did you know a 10-minute shower in chlorinated water, you might as well have drank 20 to 30 glasses of chlorinated water that day? So you can't just use a little filter on your shower because there's too many gallons going through. But I promise you, listen, people don't want to believe it. We give you a 90-day when you receive it, not when we mail it. When you receive it, I'll give you 3 months.
So
If you don't like it, send it back. Your hair is going to be soft. Your skin's going to be soft and not dry anymore, but you're not going to be poisoning yourself. Okay?
So if I did a bath, could I use some of the structured water?
You know what you got? You know, if you take 1 cup of structured water and put it in your bathtub, the whole thing is structured instantly. Instantly. If you take tap water, and I know people don't want to believe this, and go ahead, keep on buying your bottled water. Man, talk about being morons. Moronic thinking to buy bottled water. Does everybody know that Bill Gates, and I keep mentioning it because I can't stop. Who can stop? Bill Gates signed a contract with Pepsi and Coke that in not just in Pepsi drink and Coke drink, in all of their products, they can put his nanos. The same nanos that were in the V go in the actual drink. And everybody's going, we've all been vaccinated, but you know what? It doesn't matter. I've been vaccinated, okay? Because sometimes I travel. I have to travel, go from city to city. And the bigger the city, more congested it is, okay? The more that they chem it, the chemtrails, and more of the 5G. I mean, usually the third day that I'm in a city, I've got a headache. It's blowing my head off. You know what? I just have to get out. I'm like the canary. And I'm not some kind of sensitive psycho. It's really there. But people think that they have some other kind of disease or condition. It's amazing what we'll put up with. It's just truly amazing. The other thing is you've got to turn off your 5G. You got to turn off your Wi-Fi when you go to bed. You got to make sure, look at being 300 pounds, love. You can't have any more poison. You can't. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, you can also go, I want to walk again, but let's get into it. And guess what? I'll show you how you can walk again if you really want it. And you're going to have to work with me. You're going to have to call me. And you don't have to trust me, but you will trust me eventually because I'll never lie to you. And I'm never going to try to sell you something that you don't need. I swear. I will never do it. I will never do it. And if there's a way around it, I'll tell you. Okay? Okay. You have any questions you'd like to, or anything you want to ask me or tell me?
I also have lymphedema. I don't know if you know what that is.
There's no lymphedema. Listen, you don't have lymphedema. You've got about 45 pounds of water retention, because if it didn't have water retention in you and dilute the poisons, you would have been gone already. Here, Harry, this is 1 glass of concentrated poison. Well, can I water it down so it doesn't hurt me as much? So your body is retaining water, and your body's retaining water in all the cells. And if it didn't retain the water to dilute the poisons and the inflammation, let me tell you something. So there's a fire down the street and the fire trucks are there. Just because there's firemen there, does that mean they caused the fire?
Mm-hmm.
No, your body had to request the water to dilute the poisons, to bring down the inflammation, so that you don't get what? Mutation. But there is no such thing as mutation. I don't believe in cancer at all. And even cancer doctors and natural ones. And I've got lots of doctors that just treat cancer that are my friends, and they talk about it like that. But they will never poo-poo on my theory because my theory's right. It's just that they have to talk like the lingo. And the reality is this, it's called suffocation. The more poisoned you are, the less oxygen you have. The more poison you have, the less energy you have. And understand, every cell has 0.04 volts, and you're losing your energy gradually. You're getting tired quicker. You're losing your focus more and more as time goes on. And the reality is metabolism doesn't slow down in the body. It's like this. If you ever walked into a barn, have you ever gone into a pig barn or a cow barn and they didn't get the manure out and they just let it build up? Well, guess what? It's hard to breathe. And that's what happens when right now you've got what's called megacolon. Take your finger and go like this. Okay? You see? That's how big your bowel should be. Now I want you to do this. At your weight, ready? Go.
Yikes.
That's your bowel.
Wow.
That's your bowel. You've stretched it out. So that's how big it is. So now, remember, in your bowel, you've got these things called hostras. Okay, now if we don't get this all done today, are you okay with learning all this? And we come back for part 2 and I just put everything together, diet and everything?
Yes, please. I actually need to run, but I would love to do a part 2.
You have to run now?
Yes.
Okay, well then you go and then I'll continue the show and then you can watch and so next time we do this, you need to keep 2-hour window.
Oh, okay. I will.
All right?
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So anyways, everyone, so your large intestine has what's called hostras. They're muscles. And she has lost, okay, so if these muscles are they're like contracted. And that's how you move the waste out and around and gone. But understand, don't poo-poo on the large intestine because the large intestine is actually a compost and it's creating your good bacteria, which is 85% of your immune system. And if you better know that because you got 50 trillion cells, 500 trillion bacteria. Now her colon doesn't have these muscles anymore. It's basically just all stretched out and it's weak and it's fallen down into her pelvis. And I'm telling you it has. So how would we actually help her? How would we actually help her? Well, you can see, and I'm being very honest, if we didn't have blue light poisoning, she wouldn't be in this condition. She wouldn't be in this condition. And she's an Instagrammer. So you know that she's doing 8, maybe 10 hours a day. And you know that blue light is addictive, just like casein. Like, you know, people say, oh, I'm craving a piece of cheese. You know that cheese is an addictive like cocaine, and the casein is really hard on the brain. But then the brain, it craves it like cocaine. Well, guess what? People are addicted to blue light, okay? They are. Even though their eyes are burning, even though their brain is burning, they're just going to do it, baby. Why don't you just take a look around? Everybody's like this. Do you actually think that people aren't leaving? I told you that blue light was the most toxic poison on this planet. And guess what? People are getting it not just 2 hours a day, 8 hours a day. And a lot of people go to work and then they go on the subway and then they look at their phone and then they go home and they're too tired and they watch Netflix. And then guess what? They are so exhausted when they get to bed and they're blue light poisoned. There you go. Anyways, so I will go over everything with this beautiful lady. Her name is Renee. But the reality is this, okay? That Renee, okay, going to have to do whole plant-based, not organic. Organic, well, it's a fortune. She's got to search. If you search around, you'll find wherever you live, people growing food. So whenever you can, go look for the people that are growing just poison-free food, okay? And what we got to do is we've got to get her bowels cleaned out. We'll put her on daily cleansing tea, black gold. I guess she's already doing that. And she said that she took a level tablespoon of the black gold, and then she got diarrhea. That means that she's so infected with parasites in her bowel. That's what the problem is. I can do a tablespoon, a heaping tablespoon of black gold if I wanted 3 times a day. That would be overkill, not killing me, but it would be a waste of money, and I'm not going to have diarrhea. Okay? So you have to understand that black gold will go in and totally reinstate the whole digestive tract. That's how powerful it is. It's a humic fulvic. It'll drop off 40 micronutrients. It'll load itself up 300 to 400% of its weight in parasites, heavy metals, fungus, and bad bacteria. And I stand behind everything. I'll give you my phone number. You can call me anytime. You can call me out, call me down, whatever you want to do. I'll stand behind all my products. They're nutraceuticals, and they're the purest and the highest concentrate and frequency that I can find on this planet. But anyways, we'll have her do that. She'll also do the daily cleansing tea to move the waste out. We'll get her to do the ultimate coffee enema. She's going to have to do an ultimate coffee enema for me for 20 to 30 days. And an ultimate coffee enema is not a coffee enema because we're going to also use the black gold. You know how people talk about leaky gut? Well, the reality is that people don't have a leaky gut. They have a leaky large intestine. That's what people have. Okay. And that's because you have tight junctions, 1 cell thick in your intestinal lining. What happens is it gets replaced about every few hours. But the reality is if there's too much infection, too much inflammation, that those cells will be inflamed and they will pull apart. Those tight junctions come apart. Now you're pooping in your pelvis, and now the parasites can get into your bloodstream. Now the heavy metals, now the trapped protein particles will get into your bloodstream. Now the fungus will get into your bloodstream. And then if you're doing glyphosate, and which is in all processed foods, and if you do antibiotics, you'll turn the yeast into a fungus. We call that drill bit predators. And did you ever see when a tree falls down, or when the tree is dying, you'll see that little holes are being drilled through, okay? And because that's the same thing that happens when you take antibiotics and you don't have a very good terrain. Your tissue cells are not that strong, okay? And the vibration is not that healthy, all right? You've got yeast in your bowel. That yeast from the antibiotics, because antibiotics, they vibrate below zero. Did you know that? Okay, so let's understand something. All food has a vibration. Different foods have a different level of vibration, right? Processed foods, like animal products, has no frequency at all, okay? It's zero. And then antibiotics are way below zero. And I'm not trying to put down animal products because some people are just wanting them all the time. So that's not something I want, and I don't have the ability to digest animal products like that. I don't like the way they make me feel. But here's the deal. So antibiotics, they vibrate way below zero. Does anybody know what that does? That turns the yeast into fungus. And this fungus that we're all ending up talking about and the mold inside of our body was never supposed to be there until we were dead or on our way out, baby. Because you're a low vibrational person, you're going to have parasitical attack. If you walk around like a victim, what happens? Well, you'll get robbed. The predators will attack you, and they're two-legged predators out there. So the reality is it's the same thing with the two-legged predators is with the many-legged inside of you. Is that if your vibration is low and weak, you will be preyed on, okay? And that's why people have so many parasites now, because they eat low vibrational foods. They're on blue light. And tell me that people that get and are on their phones are high vibrational. Tell me that they're full of spirit. Okay, they're not. They're not. Okay. So anyways, what happens is when you take the antibiotics and you bring in the death vibe, I call it, you turn the yeast into fungus. Those fungus are drill bit predators. They drill holes right through your large intestine, and that's what you call leaky gut. And it's leaky large intestine, and now you've been pooping in your pelvis since you were a child because the first round of antibiotics causes autoimmune disease called leaky gut, which is a problem with the large intestine. And guess what? And now the body's not attacking itself. All the infectious material and the parasites and the proteins and the undigested food particles are getting back into your system. That's the problem. There's the core reason that people are sick today. Okay? You know what? I don't care what your symptom is, whether it's down at your toes or at the end of your nose, it's a large intestine problem. If you go to bhnapp.com and watch your large intestine, the Holy Grail, or watch your digestive tract, the Highway to Hell, or if you go and watch How to Become Number One at the Art of Number Two, you'll understand that. And for those of you, okay, if you want to know why you've got issues in your tissue, scar tissue, why you're stiff, okay, why you have things growing in you, lumps and bumps and fibroids and tumors and adhesions like endometriosis, and why you've got calcifications in you, why you're pulling so much calcium from your bones, go look at Reverse the Irreversible. And you can watch the masterclass. You can watch the masterclass in the BHN app, or you can go read it in the pdgfree.com guide. And my pdgfree.com guide has tons of recipes. It has a whole diet plan. It talks about the ultimate 6-day advanced water fasting. It talks about the ultimate coffee enema. It talks about vaginal infusion, rectal infusion, talks about therapeutic vomiting, clapping, belly button therapy, all of these things to love, honor, and respect 50 trillion cells that have come together as a community to love you and care for you and give you the life down here. Okay? So listen, did you ever notice something? People go from practitioner to practitioner, don't they? Because you got to go to a practitioner. It's not going to treat you. They're going to train you. Yes, you want to get treated. But again, guess what? I want you to also take a look for something. I will give a money-back guarantee on the first treatment we do, no matter what it is, that if we don't take you further than all the other treatments done in every, you don't pay us. And it's not because I'm anybody special. I'm trying to tell you that we put the pieces together. You know, there's a certain kind of mind that is logical. There's a certain kind of mind that knows how to put all these pieces. Because what the so-called people that we have allowed to run this, they've taken all the magical people, keep wealthy, abundant, full of life, taken the people, thrown them in. And it's been going on for centuries. This is nothing new. Okay? You know, isn't it a real shame that we have allowed about 250,000 people together and strategize, hog tie 8 billion? Boy, I can hardly wait for October here. And you know what, guys? You really need to learn how to connect to your breath, do the lion heart breathing, put a slight smile. Because they're coming for you. They want to traumatize the hell out of you. They want to get you down on your knees, begging God, please. You'll give away more of your rights. And they're going to keep on feeding garbage. You need to understand, you're going to a supermarket, only 1% of the food there is edible. 1%. Okay? This isn't like, shouldn't be shocking, because take a look at the way you feel shopping at the okay, all right? Just know it's BlackRock and Vanguard that own. And understand this beautiful Renee here and everybody else, they don't deserve to have this. We all came down here, and this is our planet, Dan. And you know what? We need to come together as a Braveheart nation. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to see if we have any questions. And if we don't, then I guess I'll just go do something else. What do you think of that? How is it possible to get rid of cancer drinking extra virgin olive oil? Well, I'm not going to say no, because you know what? You might have the belief and faith of someone that actually could do it. Because remember what I said? What did I say? I said the psychological rules the biological. You want to know something? Okay. All right. I haven't eaten today. Okay. I got my lemonade here. You probably can't see it, but this is fresh limes, a little bit of honey. Okay. just a very small bit of honey and lime and structured water, and I've got some black diamond in humic fulvic, and that's all I've had all day. Tonight I'm going to do a quinoa salad. So that means I'm going to have a really big salad, rainbow salad. And I'm going to mix quinoa into it. Sometimes I'll mix things like black beans into it. And then Lori makes a really nice dressing. I won't say organic dressing. I'll just say non-toxic dressing because they want us to buy organic, right? And just so you know, everybody, that organic now in the United States can have a peel on it, okay? And there's an organic pesticide, herbicide, and you don't believe me, you really should look into it. And if you eat organic all the time and it's fruit or vegetable, then you're actually going to be poisoning yourself. And this pesticide, because it's natural, it's not allowed to go on commercial processed foods. There you go. It's pretty wacky, isn't it? Okay. I'm 22 years old and I'm boyfriend. I bet you do. But before you go and get a boyfriend, man, I would tell you something, that you better go in and crack that coconut open and get rid of the belief that you need a boyfriend. Okay, what you need to do is you need to become your best friend. You need to learn how to love, honor, and respect yourself before anyone else or anything else, especially a boyfriend. And if you want a boyfriend, chances are, and the more desperate you are, you're going to get one that's going to be abusive on an emotional, physical level. So, you know what? I get it. We're emotional beings. We've been raised to believe that having unconditional love and care for ourselves is almost like a crime or a sin. And the reality is, Mim, if you don't learn how, and remember something, men, you're only going to get what you deserve, okay? So if you're really emotionally messed up right now, you'll find somebody that's probably emotionally messed up, and then you're going to have one hell of a ride, so buckle up. So the reality is nobody wants to do the emotional work, do they? Oh, no, because they've done such a good job that we're so scared to look inside ourselves that we might see the demon or the devil. And what you might find is you might find that which created you, and that is the presence of God inside of you. The presence of God inside of you. And look, a good place to start looking is that God spot in your heart, and then filling your heart up with love from you. Practice loving you. Let me tell you something. Take a look at my life band work. 3, 2, 1, I got this. If you count backwards, then your subconscious can't go and play this program that's abusing you. You understand? You want to snap yourself back to the eternal moment. Some people would say present moment, but I like to say eternal moment. And this is a kiss, and that's as snug as a hug. If you don't want to learn, everybody, just think that I'm the weirdo, and don't go out there and don't learn how to love yourself and get someone else to do it. And then when they get tired of doing it and they're not filling you up like some kind of a car that you need your tank filled, then you'll never be tank full again. Because the reality is, as you know as well as I do, that most of us come together with other people because we desperately are seeking love. And if you're desperately seeking love, then you're going to get the emotions kicked out of you. The reality is, just think if you totally loved yourself, unconditionally loved and cared for yourself, and you met somebody else that was going to do that, okay, you would come together as two vibrational spirit beings come together to rock this world, okay? Because this world is a life-threatening, fun-filled adventure if you're with another spirit being that doesn't need their heart filled up every day and told that, do you love me? Are you going to cheat on me? Okay, do you really love me? Okay, I would die for you. I'm not dying for anyone, thank you. Okay, all right? I'm over that one. Okay? So understand something. Love is just an ingredient. It's what you do with it. And the reality is, you can't give what you're not. So yes, I can. Well, yeah, you can for the first 6 months to a year. You can love that person, and then you got to get back to yourself and get back to life. And guess what? And that's why almost every marriage and relationship sucks after a while. It sucks the living out of both of you. Yeah, not doing it. Wish I could go back and do it differently, you know? Yeah. But you know what? I'm going to do it differently now. Applying to Gina Bell. Let me see what that means. We've got, get rid of Benson Williamson. He's on here and he's going to try to terrorize or get money out of people. Did you hear me? Benson William. Get rid of him right away. That's great advice. You don't have to be married to be happy. Oh my God, please. I love this part. Okay, all right, okay. To death do us part. Are you like crazy? I'm not staying anywhere till death do us part. I am going to stay where I'm feeling loved, honored, and respected. Okay, how about this one? In sickness and in health. I'm not getting sick, and either is Lori. And I don't think Lori wants to wipe my butt when I'm 75 or 80. That's not happening. We're going to be climbing mountains. Thank you. I mean, who wrote these things? In sickness and in health. And you're going to go, oh, he doesn't care. I'll tell you what, I do care. And I'm telling you right now, nobody needs to be sick. This world is sick. Almost everybody is sick because they believe that sickness is normal. It's not normal. I proved it. My mother and father passed away before 55. My younger brother's gone. Okay? And I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm not going anywhere. And the reality is this. Sickness is a belief. And so is health and vitality. I have health and vitality. And understand something. You know what else is a belief? Okay? That money flows in your life. That's a belief. Most people have poverty thinking. Most people are just looking at their parents, looking at the other people their age and going, this is what I got to look forward to. And guess what? There's where you made your mistake. You just told your subconscious this is where you're going to be when you're that age. How does it feel to be ruled, schooled, and fooled? Let me tell you that the majority of the population is so unaware, they're not even close to being awake. And I am not putting them down. Why do you think I created this platform? And you might say, well, I don't like how he comes off like a lion. Well, I'm not sure what to do. What do we do right now? What do we do where we are right now? What do we do for the children that are now going to have to take care of this world and they can't even take care of themselves? You craw? I don't know what that means. Okay. My hands wake me up all night long. I feel like there is no blood going to them. Can you tell me what is going on? Yeah, it's fear. It's terrorism. And if you take a look here up in your neck, you're going to see that you're all knotted up. Oh, I have a knot here. Well, that's actually calcification and scar tissue. And that's from stress all the time and eating an inflammatory diet. If you do the crab stretch, I'm telling you, it's in my pdgfree.com guide. If you do the crab stretch properly, okay, you can loosen that up. If you get a clapper, okay, can you grab a clapper if it's over there? I don't know if there is one. But we sell what's called a clapper, and you clap your shoulder girdle, okay, and you really clap it for about 10 minutes either side every day. That's going to help these knots in here. What you're doing is cutting off the brachial plexus, okay? This is called a clapper, okay? You wouldn't have a shirt on, and you would clap. And understand something. Everybody, you should be clapping under your lymph nodes of your neck. You should be clapping under the lymph nodes in your arms, under your arms. You should be clapping under the lymph nodes under your clavicle. You should be clapping your armpits and on either side of your groin and behind your knees every day. And if you did that, she wouldn't have had lymphedema, okay? But if her bowels would have been moving and she was able to let go, she wouldn't have this weight problem either. And also, she's an emotional eater. And look at all the blue light poisoning that Renee gets, okay? Now, it's all about circulation, so you've got too much contraction up here. But understand something. People that have cold hands, okay, they're in a constant state of fear all the time. It's built into their subconscious. That's right, because they had shell shock. And you would call it PTSD because we have to give it a, we have to make a prescription, write one for them, don't we? And get them on the drugs. Isn't that what it's all about? There's no PTSD. It's called shell shock. And a person has shell shock continually because they keep telling the trauma story and reliving it in their head. Okay, just like there's no depression, there's only your brain shutting down because it can't overheat that much, or you could stroke out. So it shuts down, and we call that depression, but there's no depression. Now, all you needed to do is get away from the environment that causes you that anxiety. So, you know, you might want to look at writing what's called the Braveheart Hero's Contract and taking a look at your life and doing things differently. I trusted a doctor years ago, and he prescribed statin drug. I took it for about 15 years. Well, guess what? If you're talking to me now, you're one of the lucky ones, because guess what? There's no cholesterol problems, okay? Cholesterol is not a life-threatening situation. And understand, 110 years ago, the actual cholesterol levels were 320, and they went and moved them down to 250. And if you go to 220, they want to put you on cholesterol drugs. Okay, so understand that so when you go up to, my apologies, if you go to 220, 250, they want you on cholesterol drugs, and 350, anything 350 and below is normal. Did you know that? They changed it. They changed it to 250, 220, depends on the doctor you see. And statin drugs do nothing except stop the body from making cholesterol. And so what happens is your brain is 50% myelin, and that's cholesterol. Your cells are made out of cholesterol. The actual coating on your nervous system is made out of cholesterol. I eat not every day, but I usually eat anywhere from 2 to 4 raw organic eggs with lots of cholesterol in them. And I love cholesterol. Give it to me. Okay. Cholesterol is not the problem. And understand, arteriosclerosis is not cholesterol. It's scar tissue and calcification. Nobody will come to battle with me or challenge me on this because it's logical. You know, they can get away with a lie to the people that watch TV and the people that listen to their families and their friends that know nothing about health, because they get their health from the TV and they get their health from a medical doctor or from a natural health practitioner that doesn't know about health either. Do you treat people with Parkinson's disease? There are no diseases, and Parkinson's is a high acidic body. The nervous system's burning out. There's hardly any minerals in this person's body. They need lots of essential fatty acids. They need lots of mineralization, and everybody's different. But if you look at certain diseases, you will see that people with certain diseases have certain personalities the same. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Is it possible to get rid of cancer? No, I already did that. I want to drink Coke and Pepsi. I won't drink Coke and Pepsi anymore. I am not vaccinated. Yes, you are. If you are drinking Coke and Pepsi, you're already vaccinated, and you can get rid of it. I turned my phone back to 3G. Well, there's no 5G on phones, guys. It says that, but there's no 5G. There's 5G towers, but there's no 5G chip in your phone. I already told you the problem is the radiation, the blue light that comes off your phone. Okay? Okay, so Thomas says this guy is a scam artist. Thomas, can you go grab my phone? I want Tom to call me, and I want him to tell everybody why I'm a scam artist. Tom, my phone number is 469-861-8884. And if you just give me a minute, you can call in here and you can tell everybody how I'm scamming them. And then I'd like to hear what you do for a living. And I'd like to hear what your background is, Tom. How about that? And I'm not being sarcastic, Tom. If you want to call me, you do it right now. Okay? All right? Give me a phone. What number is that? Yeah, you can call me, Tom, on 469-861-8884. I'll make sure the phone's turned on. Okay? I'm going to tell you one thing right now, Tom. I'm not scared of people, okay, that want to say or do things. If you knew the stuff I've been through, okay, with government agencies, with media. Holy smokes, man. Okay. I had a media station, okay, use taxpayers' money, about $150,000. They thought they were going to bring down Braveheart Nation and Dock of Detox. And then I had NBC get these nurses and also McMaster University to read my books and then tell me that, I've rewrote health. And anyways, I had this one nurse say that my Wolfe Non-Surgical was crazy. It wasn't any good. Meanwhile, she never got a treatment. The reality is guess what? I am a danger. All right. We have the most powerful bodywork in the world. We give what's called the Perfect Day Guide, pdgfree.com. Go there. Nobody's ever put it all together for people for free. I've got a bhnapp.com, which is the largest masterclass free library in the world. And there's so many beautiful things on there to teach you how to love yourself. Tom, I don't care what you think about me, buddy. But guess what? Love you anyway. Because guess what? You feel threatened or came up against one of your belief systems that just don't match. Okay? Or maybe you think that, I'm just really think too much of myself or whatever the case may be. But I'm going to tell you something. We all better start thinking a little bit more about ourselves and how we're going to protect, respect, and honor this God-given body that's a rental. I'm waiting for you, Tom. Okay? I need you to call me, Tom. His name is Thomas, if you want to look on Facebook, Thomas Malozzi. Okay? All right? All right. Anyways, Tom, I've got the phone on if you want to call. Let's see if we got anything else here. I need everyone to understand what I just did. I wanted to show you something. I want to show you that there's no authority over you. And do not allow anybody to ever bully you. Okay? All right? Don't be bullied by anybody. There is no authority over you. And find and take vitamin C. That's called courage. Stand in your power. Love, honor, and respect yourself. And demand that from the people in your life, that they respect you as well. Now, it might take them a while. So be patient because you probably haven't been respecting or honoring yourself. God knows I didn't for the first part of my life. I didn't know how. I didn't know I was allowed to. I also thought that I wasn't worth much. I'm worth everything, and so are you. And that's all I want to teach you. All we want to teach you is to be able to stand in your power and love being with you and trusting yourself in your decision making, to know that you can trust when you make decisions. Wouldn't that be great? So I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Well, you could start by living your passion and purpose and know that, guess what? You suffering for the world isn't going to do anything. You going out and finding happiness and joy and your bliss, that's how you're going to change the world. Tom, I'm waiting for your call, and so is Aaron, and so is Stephen. Okay? All right, I'm going to tell you something, everyone. We are Braveheart Nation, and I love you. I love every one of you. I don't know your story, but you've got to rewrite your story. You've got to become the hero, not the victim. There's only one virus on this planet, and it's victimitis, and it's spreading. Okay? And I'm telling you right now that I am going to dedicate myself to everyone that I don't know that I do love. Thank you for joining me. God bless. 3, 2, 1. We got this.